Steve Cohen, the owner of the New York Mets, has paid over $320 million in competitive balance tax penalties since 2021, a figure so vast it exceeds the total player payroll of several small market franchises combined over the same time frame. They achieved this historic level of financial anarchy while netting 0 division titles, only 2 meager playoff series wins, and ultimately missing the postseason in devastating fashion, culminating in one of the most ruthless core liquidations in modern baseball history.
Welcome back to 609 True News, where we don't just watch the chaos, we uncover the meticulous, brutal genius behind baseball's most expensive rebuilding project, asking the critical question: what in the world is the Mets' plan, and why does it look exactly like the first phase of the very team they claim to hate, the Los Angeles Dodgers? Mets fans are currently navigating a crisis of identity, reeling from the rapid, almost casual loss of their modern cultural pillars.
Edwin Diaz, the trumpet-blasting closer who defined the atmosphere at Citi Field, is gone, signing with the very team the Mets aspire to emulate. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, the franchise home run leader, left for Baltimore, reportedly without the Mets even extending a formal offer. And Brandon Nimmo, the longest-tenured Met, was actively traded, forcing him to waive his no-trade clause for a salary dump disguised as a minor roster realignment.
This wasn't just losing players, as one legendary baseball columnist recently lamented. This was the severance of cultural iconography, a ruthless erasure of the last 6 years, and it cut deep because the core group never actually won anything substantial. That, right there, is the essential conflict we must confront. The counterargument, the one Mets fans scream into the void, is simple. Why dump these players if you have endless money? Why trade the heart of the team? The answer, ironically, lies in the financial punishment they just absorbed and the cold, hard analytics that drove the decision. We must acknowledge that the core era, from Diaz's arrival in 2019, resulted in only 4 winning seasons and those 2 playoff series victories. The Mets were paying a premium for a non-elite product, and that is unsustainable, even for Steve Cohen. An anonymous director of advanced analytics, whom we'll call Dr. Elias, confirmed this cold-blooded calculation. We were paying for legacy and emotional equity, not guaranteed future production. The metrics show deep erosion, not maintenance. Consider the damning data points. Edwin Diaz's average fastball velocity has dropped 2 ticks since his knee injury, a significant signal of decline for a power reliever.
Brandon Nimmo's sprint speed plummeted, transforming him from an athletic center fielder into an average corner outfielder, while opposing pitchers, no longer fearing his power, started challenging him in the zone at one of the highest rates in the league, nullifying his elite eye and walk rate. But the most alarming sign was Pete Alonso's in-zone swing and miss rate, which jumped to a career-worst 18.4% last season, a telltale metric that signifies a hitter is starting to get beat by fastballs he used to crush, the absolute definition of aging decline starting to take hold. Letting them walk, though painful, was a strategic refusal to commit over $250 million to players already trending down past age 30. That brings us to the crucial realization, the central plot twist that validates the entire plan. The Mets aren't trying to be the current, finished, Ohtani-fueled Super Dodgers. They are perfectly replicating the early Dodgers blueprint, specifically the period between 2017 and 2023. We often forget that the Dodgers, under Andrew Friedman, had a period of managed chaos. Before Mookie Betts, their success was built on reclamation projects: Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, Justin Turner, players acquired as unknowns who became elite contributors on team-friendly deals. Furthermore, after winning the World Series, the Dodgers initiated their own brutal clearing of the deck. After losing in the NLDS in 2022, they let homegrown superstar Trey Turner walk. They non-tendered Cody Bellinger, and they let Justin Turner leave, all to achieve maximum financial flexibility.
Their 2023 roster was frankly a patchwork mess. A punt season led by a few stars and literal journeymen like Jason Hayward and Miguel Rojas.
a team held together by duct tape and hope, capped off by a disastrous first-round sweep. That season of intentional strategic failure was the climax that unlocked everything.
It was the necessary precursor, giving them the clean books and the green light to splurge on Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, a combined billion-dollar investment that solidified their dynasty. The Mets are in their 2023 Dodgers phase right now. Their books are surgically clean, with Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto being the only non-rookie players signed beyond 2028.
This maximum flexibility is married to a farm system that has quietly exploded, rising from the bottom third to arguably a top 3 system in baseball today, boasting legitimate future aces like Nola McLean and high-ceiling position players like Carson Bench and Jet Williams. David Stearns is not paying $155 million for Alonso because he needs that $31 million annual space, coupled with their prospect capital, to consolidate for the next wave of superstars. He is preparing for the inevitable moment when a true foundational piece, perhaps a young elite pitcher like Tarik Skubal, becomes available via trade or free agency, allowing the Mets to strike with impunity, echoing the Dodgers' acquisition of Mookie Betts. The Mets' plan is not about winning this year. It's about ruthlessly purging high-cost, declining assets to prepare for a 3-year window of dominance starting in 2027. They have the money, they have the prospects, and now they have the flexibility. It takes profound strength to endure short-term agony for long-term power. The pain of losing Diaz and Alonso is immense. But if this blueprint holds true, it is the necessary sacrifice to finally build the kind of sustained powerhouse that their fans and their owner desperately crave.
Hit the like button. Share this deep dive with a fellow fan who needs to understand the method behind the Mets madness. Subscribe to 609 True News for more unfiltered baseball truth. And tell me in the comments, is the current pain of losing Alonso and Diaz worth the eventual payoff of becoming the East Coast Dodgers?